Welcome to the 5th lesson in Web Automation with Leapwork. In the previous lessons, we explored different methods of filling data into a web form, including using hard-coded data and reading data from an Excel file. In this lesson, we will focus on the reverse process and learn how to read values from a web page. Specifically, we will look at how to extract text and numbers from a web page and perform verification. We'll continue from where we left off on the same D365 page in the previous lesson. Let's proceed to Leapwork and explore how we can retrieve data from the web page. In the previous lesson, we reached the verification point where we need to scrape the message displayed at the top of the page to confirm the successful completion of the task. To accomplish this, we will utilize the getWeb blocks. In our case, since we need to scrape text, we will use the getWeb text block. To continue from the previous lesson's flow, remove the pass block first and add the getWeb text block. Capture the element from the web page by following the standard capture process. To check the result of the read operation, I'll add a log message after the getWeb text block and connect the text found data connector of the getWeb text block into the log message block. When we run the flow from the getWeb text block, we see that the text found matches the value displayed as a message on the page. In more detail, if we want to verify the message contains the task name correctly, we have the option to verify the text displayed in a message. For that, we have a find format attribute in the getWeb text block. This feature helps us to specify exactly which part of the larger text we want to be returned by specifying a pattern or a format that the returned text should match. Here, in our case, we need to verify the task name is matched with the text entered in the task description field. To capture the text, we specify the template by keeping the text before and after the text in the Find Format text field. Here, we want to retrieve the task name from the message displayed in the application. We put the as the text before, and job is added to the batch queue as the after text. Let's do the changes in the getWeb text block. Add the as the text before, and add job is added to the batch queue as the after text. Let's run the flow from the getWeb text block. We see in the results the text which we have specified in the task description field of the form. We have another feature in the getWeb text block is a filter, which helps in verifying the text that can be used to check if a text contains, starts with, or ends with a specific word or phrase. To exemplify this, I select the Contains option and insert Task Demo 1 as the word to look for. Or, to make the selection dynamic, I can pass this data from the typeweb text block used to enter the data in the task description. If this word is not found, the building block will fail and trigger the Not Found connector. If the word is found, everything is good, and the top connector will trigger. The next use case we are automating today is to find the count of active billing schedules for the selected customer, which is displayed in the Summary section, and verify if it matches with the entries displayed in the table under the Billing Schedules section. Let's record the steps. We need to enter the customer account details, so capture the customer account text field and select the typeweb text blocks from the options. Enter the text 000001 in the text value field to continue the flow. We need to simulate pressing the Tab key on the keyboard. To incorporate keystrokes in the typeweb text block, we have a capture button next to the text value attribute. Click on the capture button and it will turn green. Now, press the Tab key on the keyboard. We will observe that the Tab keystroke is added after the text value 000001 and click on Apply. According to our use case, we need to capture the active billing schedules whole block and select the getWeb number block from the displayed options. It will return the number value. To compare this number with the displayed active schedule status in the billing schedule, we use the Find Web element block. Hover on the cell which contains the active under the schedule status and capture the element. Select the Find Web element block from the displayed options. We are done with the recording part. Stop the recording by selecting the Save and Record option. The flow is created. Let's make some changes to the flow. In the last two blocks, we need to make a change in the strategy. First, open the strategy editor of the getWeb number block. Click on the image and select Edit Web Element. If you look on the right side, you will see the values of the attributes. There is an attribute named Text with the condition set to Starts With, and the value is For Active Billing Sched. Here, the value contains a number, and we know that the value will change as the count of active billing schedules changes in the application. Our flow fails at this point, so we need to make the strategy dynamic instead of static. To do this, change the condition to Contains, and remove the For from the value area. Now, validate it first, and you will see that the element gets validated, and we are getting a result of Found 1 of 1. It means there is only one element on the page with this description. Click on the Save button to save the changes made in the strategy. Next, move to the next block. Here, we want the Find Web Element block to return the count of the active schedule status in the table. So, we need to make changes to the strategy again. Open the strategy editor as we did previously. You will see a field called Use Occurrence, which is currently set to 1. We need to specify Use Occurrence when we have multiple elements that match the same description. However, if we want the count of those similar elements, we simply leave this field blank. Let's clear this field and validate it. Now you will see that the Found field in the strategy editor shows 1 of 4, and the first element is highlighted in the application. If you click on the arrow in the strategy editor, the Found field will show 2 of 4, and the second element will be displayed in the application. Once we save this strategy, we can get the total count of the active schedule status. Click on Save and return to the canvas. Next, we need to add the Compare block for the comparison. Connect the Number Found data connector of the Get Web Number block to the Value A data connector of the Compare block. We need to compare this value with the count of the active schedule status, which we can obtain through the Find Web Element block. Connect the Count data connector of the Find Web Element block to the Value B data connector of the Compare block. Drag the top green connector of the Compare block and add the Pass block, and drag the Incorrect Flow connector of the Compare block and add the Fail block. The Pass block will trigger when the value is matched, otherwise the Fail block will trigger. Now our flow is ready for execution. Let's execute the flow and see the results. The flow has passed. In the logs, we can see that the Get Web Number block picked the number displayed in the summary of active billing schedules. The Find Web Element block returns to the count, and the comparison is made. Both values matched. In this lesson, we have learned how to scrape values from the application and perform comparisons. We suggest you try replicating this flow on your own by following the video. Happy automation!